I recently appeared on a program in Detroit IPTV. It's an urban station, and what was disconcerting is that what I found is that the MAGA message, the immigration MAGA message, is taking hold within the African American community by them attempting to make African Americans victims of immigration from down south or immigration from anywhere. What I try to explain is that that's not, in as much as there is some validity to immigration affecting lower scale African American workers. The reality is the problem is a lot deeper than that. And unless we get to the core of the problem, you cannot solve it. Right now, there is one solution, and that solution is an economic solution that has to be made both on the federal level and on specifically how immigration is handled in this country. I tried to address some of that. It is something that bears watching, and it is something that needs to be attacked, not on the level that pits people against each other, groups against each other, but get at the core of who is creating the real problem. Check out this clip, and I also have a link to the entire discussion, but check out this clip, then we'll take it on the other side.
The question is, should Black Americans in particular, should Americans in general be concerned with illegal immigration or the borders being overran, where you have millions of people in the last 4 years that have come across the border unvetted, most of them from Mexico, South America, the Honduras, and so forth and so on. These are illegal. These are people who are undocumented, or they come over with a student visa or work permit or some other form of documentation where they can stay for a while, and then they overstay, which is another violation. So yes, we should be concerned. There are numerous studies that show that especially mass undocumented illegal immigration to this nation negatively impacts Black Americans more than anyone else as far as employment opportunities. Now, I'm telling you something. I lived in California, Los Angeles for 13 years. Many areas of Los Angeles. When I went to stay in Los Angeles in 1980, you had approximately 300,000 more Black Americans there than you do now. You have 300,000 less Black Americans there. In areas of Los Angeles that used to be predominantly Black, like Compton, it's no longer predominantly Black. Baldwin Hills was a Black suburb in Los Angeles. It's no longer predominantly Black. And so, yes, Black Americans should be concerned.
I think that immigration is something that we as Black people, African Americans and Black people, and notice I make the distinction because African Americans in this discussion are very special, and I with respect I try to make sure to note that, because as being the folks who have been taken advantage of by this capitalist society. And make no mistake, while we make the discussion a white and Black issue and what the white class has done to the Black class, that has never really been the issue. It's always been a capitalist issue where our bodies were used as the modes of production, etc. I don't, let me qualify a few things that my brother said, Malik. And a lot of what Malik says actually comes from a narrative we hear in the United States a whole lot that's been inculcated from the capitalist class as well when they want to use us. Things like terrorists could be coming over, things like diseases that could be coming over. Let me just say from a factual standpoint, countries like Costa Rica, Venezuela, Panama, their vaccination rates, etc., are much higher than here in the United States because we don't suffer the problems of that crazy class that believes in anti-vax and all of that. So whereas we are concerned that diseases will come over, most of the diseases in this hemisphere comes from America into these southern countries. With regards to terrorism, etc., we are generally the terrorists around the country. We are the ones that make the arms. These other countries don't make them. The machine guns and all these equipment. Those things are imported from the United States. So we ship, as a United States of America, violence to the other parts of the world. When it comes to the influx of people coming in, even every president of the United States, whether it be a Republican president or a Democratic president, have passed laws specific that makes the capitalist parts of our country, the white farmers, etc., get advantages over, let's say, the rice deal that Clinton signed that caused Haitians to migrate here, the fruit companies in Latin America that refuse to allow the folks to that whenever they attempt to have their lands, America finds a way to either create a revolution or create an invasion or something of that sort. So these people are coming over here not to take the black guy's job or anything like that, but out of necessity because of our foreign policy south of the border. So while it's easy to say, let's maintain the policies that America created for immigration, and if you're not coming over here legally, well, you're not doing it the right way. Well, when you create the dissension and the chaos in these other countries, what do you think people are going to do? What did the people who founded this country do? When they had problems in England, they came here, but they didn't come here. These people are coming over here to work. Those other guys came over here to conquer, maim, kill, and create genocide. Two different things altogether. Should black people be concerned about the immigration? Absolutely. But the way we should be concerned is not doing the job of the capitalist. The job of the capitalist is to create dissension among all of us. What we should be doing is trying to create alliances among all of us to work against the capitalists. Because as far as our bodies are concerned, whether it's Malik, Anita, Jande, whatever, they are not in this for us. The immigration fight, I know Anita thinks maybe, I don't want to be on the streets. And I think we should respect anybody who says, I am not going to be on the streets. After all, a lot of these Latinos didn't come out and vote for Kamala Harris, right? and a lot of black men didn't come out and vote for Kamala Harris, even though we knew we had a thug a felon. This is what when you have a corrupt economic system, it allows your mind to go into the wrong places. What we should be doing is building alliances. Should African Americans, black people be worried about immigration? You damn bet we should. But for those who decide they want to hold this one out, I respect you as well.
Rising another black person and putting them in a box based upon what we think they might be, because our opinion may differ from theirs. I could say that Egberto is a Marxist, a follower of Mao Zedong or Joseph Stalin, based upon what he's saying. But I'm not going to go. What I do is I base my comments strictly upon what I've researched. If we're going to have a sovereign nation, no sovereign nation on the face of the earth allows millions of people to come over and invade their nation and go through the borders unvetted. No nation does that. It has nothing to do with capitalism. It has nothing to do with Marxism. All sovereign nations have borders. And if they have borders, they have an infrastructure in place to make sure that anybody entering their nation is vetted. That's just intelligent. And so to get back to your question, I think that it's most definitely those from Latin America that pose the greatest risk to this nation, simply because many of them are coming over here. They're poor, they're uneducated, and they're coming over here in astronomical numbers. And in my experience, like I said, I've lived in Los Angeles for 13 years. Once they get over here, they don't have any concern, very little concern about the issues that Black Americans face in this nation. They're only concerned with their own nation, with their own problems of their own groups. And so to answer your question, I think that those from South America, the Latinos, in Central America, the Latinos from Central America, Mexico, and South America.
Yeah, let me say, I don't, thank you for that question. I wouldn't use it as which immigrant is more problematic. They're all immigrants. And by the way, I am in fact a Latino and Black Latino. Latino is actually a sort of just what region are you from? And again, and by the way, I'm not a Leninist or whatever. I am. If you wanted to put a classification on me, I would be considered a free enterpriser, which is not what we have in America. In America, we have a system that makes money on the backs of others, no other. I would encourage those that are listening to the program to visit my article to get a better understanding on what I'm talking about. Now, when it comes to why I blamed capitalism at the top has specifically to do what I said before. Capitalist policies that are in south of the border, in Jamaica, in Haiti, in Panama, in all these countries. The capitalist methodology is what is creating the false scarcity in these countries that causes these people to come over here. So when you say what country will leave their borders open, America has implicitly caused the problem of the people coming over here. And the same problems and racial attitudes that these people have in their own countries, they will bring here to the United States, just like we take the same. I was born in Panama from Panamanian parents, and I was living in a segregated gold and silver communities created by the United States of America when they brought their same racist crap to Panama. We had the separation. Now, I didn't live it. My parents did until we forced America into not bringing that crap to Panama. Now, that said, I think the big problem with immigration is that we're not honest about it. We as Americans do whatever the hell we want around the rest of the world. And when the blowback comes, we convince our own people that somehow these different groups are to be faulted, and we fight among each other instead of fighting what the real problem is. The real problem ain't us. The real problem ain't the immigrants. The real problem is the economic system. And until we get there, we're going to have these fights over and again. We're going to fight this over. We'll never get reparations. We will never get all these things that we're fighting for because we're too busy looking at everything else except our eye on the ball. Muchísimas gracias. Tell me what you think. Irrespective of who you are, I would love to hear what you think about this clip. And let's talk about it, because as it turns out, it is dangerous what MAGA has done to split this country. And I should say the right wing, the plutocracy, they're all intertwined together. It is something we have got to work to mitigate.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.